Mostly a protest.
Hot take, January 6th is worse than 9/11.
Mostly a protest.
MAGA and the domestic terror threat is much more worrisome than any foreign threat we could face.
Mostly a protest.
It feels like things have actually gotten worse since January 6th, honestly. You know, I remember reading the reports about when Trump began his run for office, he inspired an uptick in white nationalism and in violent white nationalism.
I think it's much worse than it was on January 6th. It's
mostly a protest.
I know what you're saying. Sure, a lot more people died in 9/11. Sure, 9/11 is a way worse tragedy, but 9/11 was a foreign thing and not America's own people going against the government.
Mostly a protest. Mostly a protest. Mostly a protest. Mostly a protest. Mostly a protest.
Flight 93, I explained to the kids, right? I'm like, they took the plane, you know, they fought the hijackers and they crashed the plane into the field and they protected the U.S. Capitol. Like, their last act as Americans on this earth was to protect the seat of our democracy, to protect the U.S. Capitol. And I said those words, and it was like, in real time in my brain, I realized that 20 years after they gave their lives to protect the U.S. Capitol from a terrorist attack, 20 years later, it was our own citizens that smashed the windows, threw the flag on the ground.
Mostly a protest.
It's surprising that to no one that there will be people, mostly millennial left-wingers, that will spit in the face of so many people when they say the Capitol riots was far worse than 9/11. I want you to keep in mind that almost 3,000 people died that very day. Hundreds more were sick because of the smoke and dust that was spread throughout New York City. Not to mention causing billions of dollars of property damage. Family, friends, and so many others were devastated by the losses of so many lives in one fell swoop. This is just pure evil. There is no other words for it. They have the balls to compare it to what happened in January 6th and say that it's far worse. Sure, there was some property damage, and there were deaths without doubt, but it's nowhere near close to the tragedy that is 9/11. But their justification is basically, oh, but these people were Americans. We're being threatened by American terrorists. Imagine my shock. You know, it's funny that they're willing to say this. Yet when it comes to the likes of BML and Antifa attacking people or setting buildings on fire, what do you think they will say? Well, it's mostly peaceful. The exact same people who are complaining that Trump is not only allowing this to happen, but even promoting the actions that happened in January 6th is hypocritical and downright one big massive lie. These Democrats not only turned a blind eye when it comes to riots caused by BLM or Antifa, but certain companies like Burger King is willing to support their cause because one black man was dead in the hands of a cop. Oh, sorry, he was killed by the cop by pressing his weight on his back that would have never killed him anyway. So, why is it any shock that these people who are so out of place of reality would say such a thing? I'll tell you why. Because their hate motive for Trump is so great that they're willing to take a massive dump on the victims of 9/11. Is it any shock that Biden was booed at the 9/11 memorial? No! These people know that their pain and suffering is nothing more than a mere joke to these people. Our president is making a mockery of America. And we're supposed to believe that he earned those votes fair and square? To those who lost their loved ones, you have my apologies. Something like this should never happen again, and should not be minimized to a mere joke by Democrats. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos, and be sure to like every video I make. This is our duty to spread this information. I'm John Malano, and I will see you soon.
So there you go.
Degenerates like you belong on a cross.